Did you know that 7 in 10 men and women have had intercourse by their 19th birthday? Sexual education is a very important topic. All throughout school, we are taught about math, reading, writing, and history, along with many other subjects from kindergarten through 12th grade. Why can't sexual education be like this too? It's a part of everyone's everyday life, and it's an information that people need to know. I'm going to tell you why sexual education needs to be looked at more seriously and taught more in the school systems. I'm going to be doing this by talking about how our sexual education program is right now, what people think that sexual education should be taught like, and the controversies that go along with that. And finally, if we did improve our sexual education program, how it would benefit everyone. There are many different ways in teaching sexual education, and the government is responsible for determining all these different ways. There is no federal law that requires sexual education to be taught, let alone specific requirements for what should be taught if they are being taught. In 32 states, sexual education isn't required. Shouldn't this number be lower? What have we been teaching in the states that do teach sexual education? 37 states require that abstinence be talked about in sexual education. 26 require that abstinence be stressed, and 11 require that abstinence just be mentioned. The U.S. government has spent over $1 billion on an abstinence-only based curriculum. In December 2009, Congress spent $114 million on replacing a community-based abstinence program with a pregnancy prevention program. That's a step in the right direction. You see, money has been spent, a sexual education program has kind of been accomplished, but what is going to be the best way of teaching this and is going to make a difference? The rates of sexual diseases have been at a decline, but now have evened out. And we don't want these numbers to go back up. So how are we going to stop them? In 2007, reports say that a program with both contraceptives and abstinence were had very much of a positive outcome. They had less sexual activity, less partners, and more protection. Should people be learning on their own, like using the internet and from their peers about sexual education, or should they be learning it from their parents because parents don't like how the educational system handles sexual education? Well, when it comes to parents, they might provide incorrect info. And when you're looking at a website, those could also be incorrect. Out of 177 websites, 46 were wrong about contraceptive uses, and 35% were wrong about abortion info. After looking at parents or learning on your own, doesn't it seem like an education system would be more effective? The education, how would it be better to use the education program? Diseases and unwanted pregnancies would go down. Ideally, comprehensive sexual education should start in kindergarten and go all the way through 12th grade. If you start out with a mild approach and lead into a more narrow approach, just like any other subject, then it would be very effective. Is it unreasonable? Not really. Is it more effective? It definitely could be if it was put to the right approach. Since the 1990s, a decline has went down. This is meaning that we need to have a better focus on our health that will improve everyone's sexual health. There are many factors that tie into why sexual education is the way that it is today. But there are a few facts that I'd like to end you with to make you think if our sexual education program has really been working. The United States is one of the highest teen pregnancy countries. Every year, 9 million sexually transmitted infections occur. Compared to Canada and Europe, the gonorrhea and chlamydia are very high. Aren't these factors obvious? Our sexual education program isn't working out very well, and the numbers could very much so go down if we were to think of sexual education as more of an important topic. If we had better education, then diseases would go down, unwanted pregnancies. I have just talked about how sexual education is now, the ways that sexual education can be effective if it is taught in the school system, and finally, how sexual education needs to be taught in schools and will be more effective. I hope that I have persuaded your way of thinking about sexual education and how it needs to be changed. Thank you.